Corey Colum released his first self-titled album in 2012 and had a little break before releasing his second album, Patience, this year. He lives in Western Australia and has a whole range of skills outside of music, so I have a few questions to ask him about the album and other things. Hello, Corey.
Hello, Sophie. How you going?
I'm very well, thank you. And I'm going to go straight into the title of the album, which I'm guessing might have something to do with the break between albums, shall we say?
Yes, absolutely. So, so a big shout out to all the fans and family and for their patience. So it's been a long time. It's been over 12 years since we released music. So it's really exciting to get some new stuff out. And everyone's been had a lot of patience over those years. So it's great to get it out.
Especially you as the artist. So why did you decide that now is the right time for music? Because, obviously things happen in life. You have a whole household, children, all sorts of things, but there's obviously a reason why now is the right time.
I just think it felt right. I had the songs. And we moved from where we were based for 6 7 years up in the Kimberleys. We moved down to Onslow, and the kids are a little bit older. You know that they're a little bit more independent. So it just felt right. It was just and I had a bit of time from our move based in Onslow. I had a bit of time and I was writing again and finishing songs, which was a bonus for me. There's a lot of before that. There was a lot of starting songs but procrastinating and never finishing them, and it just fell into place. And I met some great people too that became involved in the album. So everything just fell into place. Yeah, it was great.
So the songs that you hadn't finished, was it more just these were, was it more that they were lyrical ideas or melodic ideas that you were saving, or both?
Mainly lyrically, so there might have been like half songs. Most of my stuff is, lyrically. That's where it was at. I'll usually, well, it's all over the place with my songwriting. I don't really have a set thing for songwriting. Depends on the day, but most of them were just not fully written, and they just needed to be finished. And then working with Josh, also the producer,
Mhm.
to actually finalize the rhythm side of it, and they some of them grew to a whole new song really. So it was exciting. It was just to get back in the studio and go through that process was great.
From what I can tell, most songwriters don't seem to have a set process. I think it's a really rare songwriter who has a practice of songwriting. Most of you seem to have them pop into your head when you're driving a car. That's a recurring theme, actually, driving a car, and that's when
Absolutely.
I know you drive. You are able to drive trucks, so maybe for you it's driving a truck.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Driving is really, really good, especially when there's no kids in the car. There's a lot of time to think. Like I just mentioned to you off before that I drove 1,500 kilometers yesterday to get down south, and that is the perfect time to be able to just get in a zone and think about things, and then when pull over and write some ideas down. So driving is absolutely the best time.
So when you're documenting song ideas, is it the ones that keep popping back into your head that you think I'm going to pursue those and see where that takes me and maybe record it? Or is it actually that you kind of keep a record and then you just go back, and when it's time to record, for example, when you're thinking about that, you're sifting through your ideas to see which ones are still working?
Yeah, it is a mixed bag. So I do document most of the things. Some of the songs are just they're that stuck in your head that you do end up with, like, a week later you could sit at the guitar and actually that song is still there. Whereas other times I use my voice memo a lot on my phone and just recording to that. And then when there is time looking for songs, or just mucking around at home, just having that time, is it going back through the list of songs and then picking them up, whether that idea was not doesn't really feel right and doesn't progress from there, or other times it's like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. We'll keep working on that one. So look, voice memos is probably my biggest thing that I use. Yeah.
And the good thing is these days, of course, with the hands-free situation while you're driving the
Yes.
1500 days, you can
Yes.
record.
Definitely. Everything's safe and above board.
That's right. So now, from what I was reading about you, you became interested in music from a young age, and started seeing live music from a young age. I'm wondering which artists you first loved in country music.
Yeah, so back when I was younger, I watched a lot of VHSs of John Williamson. So that was I loved his songwriting and his ability to entertain a crowd as a solo artist was and still is amazing. And I saw him live a few times, and then it grew from there into watching bands and then getting a love for American country music, really like '90s stuff of Brooks and Dunn, and that's when probably when I had my license, when I had free reign, bit of freedom. That's when I could hit the road and go down to Boyar Brook, was where I spent a lot of time back in the day. And yeah, Alan Jackson, that sort of '90s rock was what I got into from there.
And in terms of developing your singing voice, because you have this really strong singing voice, were there particular singers that, because yeah, we all start singing by imitating singers some that we hear recorded. So which singers, I guess, have the most influence on you?
Yeah, mix. Randy Travis, I love his voice. Australian wise, Adam Harvey, like he's got a big deep voice too. So he's always someone a great guy and always helpful to talk to as well. And then Josh Turner, like he's got an amazing voice, but it's ever changing too. Like I think I've got a bit of a range too. So I've even been looking into progressing with that and going into Chris Stapleton stuff. I know that's a big thing to try to try and go to, but that just you're always learning, always trying to improve yourself and trying to go that one step further. So it's ever changing, but it's probably early days was Randy Travis, Alan Jackson. So
Mhm.
yeah.
You mentioned going to Boyup Brook when you were younger to see live music. So can you remember the first ever live act you saw?
Oh, I think it would have been a local band like Magnificent Seven. So they're a Perth act that used to go down there quite a lot. So they were probably the most that I saw back in the day. But then Adam Harvey used to come down. Adam Brand was down there. He's originally a WA boy, so it was good to see him. I think he cleaned up one year when I was down there at the awards.
Right.
So but then he obviously went to the East Coast and left us over here. But uh, it's really good down there. So much, so many good memories.
Because there are Western Australian Music Awards. I don't think, I'm trying to think of other states. I think Queensland has some. I'm in New South Wales. I don't think we have them, at least for country music artists. But the Western Australian Music Awards seem to come up over and over again as a way of supporting the industry.
Yeah, which is fantastic for Western Australia. And it helps us to promote our music as well. So it's a great thing that Boy Out Brook do for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you entered the Telstra Road to Tamworth, as it then was. I think it became Telstra Road to Discovery in 2009. So by that time, you must have been performing quite a bit. So when did your performing life start?
My performing life started when I was about 16. I had like a little trio, a couple of mates that we played. Wasn't so much country; it was like a mixture of like Van Morrison, that old sort of rock stuff, which was great fun. So that was when my performing sort of started, just doing gigs for mates, and we might have stuck into a hotel every now and then underage, but it was all all good. and then from there, Point Brook, I entered some awards, locally, competitions and that sort of thing, and that's where I won the heat to go over to Tamworth, was down in Boyart Brook for songwriters, and the award over there. So that was, if it wasn't for that, I don't know what would have happened with my music as going forward. So it was a really really great stepping stone.
So was that the first time you'd been to Tamworth?
No, I went a couple of years before. I was in the Country Music Academy in 2007.
Okay.
So went over for that, and the year before that, drove over with my uncle, and we did a bit of a trip around. And that was my first. 2006 was my first time over to Tamworth, and then there was quite a few years in a row, which was pretty full on traveling over every year. But it's a great festival, and love going over there.
It's a big commitment, though. Every time I talk to artists from the West who come to the festival or do anything on the East Coast, it's like when you're living on the East Coast, it can seem like, oh yeah, it's fine. But it's this massive logistical exercise, really, to come over and do anything musical on the East Coast.
Yeah, it is, but that's part and parcel of we choose to live here in WA, and wouldn't have it any other way. And it is, like you say, it's a logistical, not nightmare. I don't want to say nightmare, but it is definitely
Challenge.
logistics that go into it. Challenge is a good word, yeah. So getting over, we drove last year, drove back. So this year we're going to fly, but it's good because it's also I got some stories out of it, and I actually wrote a song about traveling over when our car broke down, and that's what helped with that Telstra Road to Tamworth back in the day. So take the bad luck with the good was the song, and that helped me, and so that was an experience that we had along the way.
So you went to the academy in 2007, and then you were in Telstra Road to Tamworth 2 years later. So, I mean, I often think the academy does have a role to play in competitions being entered and people being successful in them. So when you went to academy, were you primarily interested in developing songwriting or performance, or just really to find out what information they could offer you then?
Yeah, everything, because coming from WA and just a plumber that loved to play music and loved to songwrite, it was all new to me. So everything from networking through to songwriting, performing, the business was a big thing as well. That was touched on that I never really thought of before. You just think, a musician, you just play music, you don't have to worry about that. But that is a massive part of it. And now, obviously, with social media, and there's a whole new element to it as well. But it was really good to get a good broad knowledge of the business.
I like how you just said just a plumber playing music. Anyone who's ever had anything not working in a pipe or to do with water will know that just a plumber is not correct.
Yes, plumber, and then I got a bit greedy, and I'm going back for another trade. So I'm doing electrical trade now too. So
All
busy,
right.
busy. Yeah, plenty going on.
Okay. Well, there is always work for trades because we all need help around the house and doing all sorts of things. And I guess if particularly if you're working for yourself, it is something that you can then work around music when you want to pursue it.
Yeah, you can, and it does have that flexibility. Yeah, also, but still got to make a quid. So that's where got to keep working, and whenever we can, work around family life as well. I've got three young daughters, and with their life, trying to teach them as they're growing up and spend time with them without having spent too much time away is pretty important too. So yeah, it's just it's a juggling act all the time, but it's really good to be able to keep following a passion too.
So in between the albums, did you keep performing?
Yeah, absolutely. So released the album 2012, and then we travelled from Western Australia over to Queensland. Along the way, we went through Gibb River Road, and then that's where we fell in love with a place called Home Valley Station, and met the manager there, and he loved the music, and said, "Can you do something through the day?" So I worked during the day, and I played every night. So yeah,
Right.
it was really really good. The first couple of years was pretty much every night during the season. I played music to a crowd that was always changing over because it's traveling people, tourists getting around. So it was great, and I still got to play all the time. It's not like I just dropped music and didn't do anything for a long time. I was able to play, and I felt that helped out with my music too, to be able to play and meet people and get their stories as well. So it was really good, and then the time was right to do some new stuff.
And hopefully you had a day off here or there, so just to give you working during the day and then playing at night, probably not
Yeah,
sleeping that much.
it's it's a great life. It was a great lifestyle. It was amazing. We loved it up there. It was a great place to bring our little daughters up for a few years there. So there's plenty of time to relax and then enjoy it as well. Especially in the off season, you're there and there's no one there. The whole place gets shut down and you just look after it. And so it was an amazing place that have fond memories for a long time.
So some of the songs on Patience, your new album, have been around for a few years. Do you remember the first one that you wrote?
Probably Reasons, I think. That would probably be the oldest one on there, which I got to co-write with Drew McAllister, which was amazing. So we were based at the station at the time, and I flew over and caught up with Drew and wrote the song over there. And the song was based on living there. So Reasons and the seasons, that was the idea of the song, how it came about, and everyone having their own reasons for doing what they're doing, and mine was my four reasons are my three daughters and my wife. So it was great to spend time with Drew. He's amazing. To get to write and hang out with a guy of that caliber was awesome.
Yes, he's a very successful and well-known co-writer. And you mentioned earlier that the album was produced by Josh Dyson. So how did you come to work with him?
Yeah, so when we moved to Onslow, a friend of mine, Mark Donahue, who's based in WA, who's part of Magnificent Seven, actually. That's I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, he I rang him and was looking for a band to play in Onslow at the rodeo, and he put me on to a guy Luke Gallagher, who's a guitarist who's now gone to Nashville and doing great things. But he knew Josh Dyson and he played bass for me, and over the couple of years, kept doing some gigs with him, and then just started chatting. He said, "I've got a studio in Perth, and love to be involved in your new project." And from there we just chatted about it more and more, and I've sent some songs to him, and it was a really great experience to do the whole thing independently and with people that I knew. So it was and everyone got to play on the album. I get to play in my band besides pretty much Jai Perry Banks, who played pedal steel, did an amazing job. But yeah, everyone else I get to play, yeah, mostly in the band. So it was, yeah, really good.
Jai Perry Banks gets around. He pops up on all sorts of records.
Yeah, well, he's pretty good. So
I've seen him play live. He is very, very good. Now you mentioned rodeo, and there is a song on the album called "One More Ride," and I believe you grew up going to rodeos. Now, what I don't know is actually if you actually were in them, because there's some reference to broken bones in the song.
no, I haven't ridden rodeo as much as I would have liked to. I think that might have passed for me now. But no, I went to a lot of rodeos, and the story for that was, yeah, it came about from guys that did ride rodeo. One that lives in Onslow now and is still involved in the rodeo circuit. He actually supplies horses for the rodeo. So, and that's where it was, yeah, a really good connection. And also the other guy who's based in New South Wales, I met him at the station, and he was a saddle bronc rider back in the day too. And the connection was me following my dream and them following their passion and their dream in rodeo, and still having some involvement in that area. So yeah, no, it was really good. It's good to have a personal song like that that you can that I still see some of the guys around, like the horse contractor still in Onslow, and he comes and he loves the song now, so he's a fan favorite. So yeah, it's good fun.
Well, I do think part of the comparison between what you do and bronc riding or bull riding, whatever it is that it's a high risk, high reward endeavor with potential downside as well. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
you've got to put yourself out there as a musical artist and trust that there's an audience there. I mean, you obviously can have your audience, but you want to find new audience, all those sorts of things. And performing live is probably the highest risk because you have no idea who's going to be in the audience.
yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I suppose I haven't really thought about it that deep, but yeah, but it is when you think about it. I suppose when you're doing it for a long time, you just do it, and love it. You know, we just did a great gig up at Panawanica Rodeo, and to play live to thousands of people and with a band is just the ultimate. When you get to do that and get to share your original songs through that is just unbelievable. And I suppose the biggest difference would be, like I said before, no broken bones for me, but maybe some broken bones for those guys.
Rodeo crowds, I would think, are really interesting because it's there's a lot of adrenaline going around a rodeo, including amongst the people who are watching. So I think for an artist to be able to harness that, but also to an extent just try to work with it and not let it get out of control must be interesting.
Yeah, it can get out of control sometimes, but yeah, most of the time it's good fun. You know, good harmless fun. Everyone's just enjoying themselves. There is a lot of energy, like you say, a lot of adrenaline. It's a big weekend with rodeo weekends, and you got all sorts of different people from different walks of life that come and watch the rodeo too. So as long as they stay away from the rum cans, it's all pretty good.
Yeah, no guarantees there on
No.
it. Now, you mentioned the song Reasons, which is about your reasons for doing things, your wife and your daughters. And then with the focus track for the album is Get Livin', which I think is related because it was inspired by the move you made to Onslow. So for those of us who don't know Onslow, what is it about that place in particular that has been so beneficial for you and your family?
Yeah, I think it's just a new chapter in our lives. You know, it was a move, and yeah, a new chapter. It's a great little town. It's only a small town. It's only I think we got 800 people in the town. School was really good for the kids, which was that was great for our move. They were doing school of the year up at the station. Then we moved down, and there's only I think 150 kids in the whole school, so it was really good for them, and they love life. It's a really great little coastal town, with sort of where the out and back meets the sea sort of style. And yeah, it's just, really small community where you get involved in everything, a lot of volunteering and that sort of thing with small towns. And I think it was, like I said, the new chapter. And that's where a lot of these things come out. I think it was just I've been asked this question a few times, but to pinpoint actually what it was, I'm not sure. It's just like a release, and
Mm.
everything seemed to flow at the right time. I'm not sure because it up north was still very inspirational and but we were working a lot there too. So I think your mind, your headspace, it changed when we moved to Onslow, and I think that's what the release was. And a little bit of extra study. I was reading I was reading Willie Nelson's book, and he was talking about it's not procrastinating and not worrying about having a massive story for every song because people can relate it with their own life experiences, which I found really profound. And I think that helped me a lot too with my headspace of finishing songs and not being too concerned and holding back and just let it flow. And it is what it is. That's what you do. And so yeah, I think that helped too.
Yeah, I guess it can feel like you need to have a message in every song when actually a lot of people would like you just to tell them a story, because it's actually it's kind of like almost a primal thing of wanting to be told stories, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and everything does relate in way. There might not be a full story, but yeah, it's I really enjoy hearing what the song means to someone else because they their life are at different points. They've got different reasons. So yeah, that's a real highlight for me to be able to play a song that I wrote that they can give me their perception of what it meant to them. That's pretty special when that happens.
Hmm. Now, we've already talked about you visiting Tamworth in the past. At the time we're speaking, Tamworth is in the not too distant future, or the Country Music Festival is. Do you have plans for 2026?
We are heading over. Yes, we've got a couple lined up. Back out at Nundle, which we love playing out there out at Nundle, and we're on Fan Zone on a Saturday afternoon. So yeah, and then just also letting everyone know about the album that it's out, and then networking, and try hopefully build on this to get back in and do some more gigs for next year and into the future. So yeah, really looking forward to getting back and sharing the new songs.
So it sounds like you're fully engaged back in now. I mean, you obviously are with an album, but just in terms of touring and things like that, that this is actually the start of a whole raft of activity for you. While I point out you are working and studying.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we're juggling. Trying to make things work and trying to share as much as we can, and also logistically where we live. We've decided to live in the middle of the bush. It's not that easy to get to every gig or every festival, but yeah, as much as we can, we'll try and get out and be able to sing and share the songs with everyone for sure.
Well, Corey, I think it's been worth everyone's patience for this album because it's you have this wonderful voice. There are some great stories on the album. It's a great time listening to it, and I always think part of it's wonderful to be entertained, and actually that's a very it's not a common thing for me as a listener. I love being entertained because I just think, oh, this is just helping me forget the week or whatever it is. So highly entertained by your album, love the stories on it, and I'm sure other people will and can see you on the road. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sophie. It's great to chat to you.